You're listening to the Business Marketing Show. In this episode, we interview Chris Blair from netpreneursummit.com.au. You can find us at businessmarketingshow.com, on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. Hi everyone, this is Keay-Smith from the Business Marketing Show, and today we have a special guest, Chris Blair from Netpreneur Summit and also masterlevelmarketing.com. Chris is one of the co-hosts of the Netpreneur Summit along with James Brown, where I'll be attending and speaking the first week of September. So welcome, Chris, all the way from Japan. How are you, mate?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me on. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. It's always great to help out other people and also be interviewed. I enjoy these type of things.
Fantastic. Now, obviously, to the people listening, you are not Japanese.
No,
You're not Australian.
No.
So
I'm a little unusual. I'm American, but through various family reasons, I got exposed to Japan when I was young, and I've spent 20 years of my life in Japan. So,
wow,
yeah,
awesome.
Even though I'm American, I'm quite unique.
So I've read a lot on your various blog posts that you would never consider going back to Japan at this moment in time. You're quite happy to stay, back to America, but you're quite happy to stay in Japan. So
I love the lifestyle here. Yeah, I mean, no offense, but even though I'm American, I have a U.S. passport, and I still support America. I'm happy to go back and visit. It's always great to go back and visit, but for living, yeah, I'm here. This is where I want to be.
Awesome. Now, look, you and I met for the first time a year ago, almost to the month, at the Fusion Dojo in Thailand.
Chiang Mai.
Yeah, in
That's
Chiang
right.
Mai. And we're both speakers there. Now, you have done a lot of stuff in e-commerce and Facebook and using Facebook for marketing and different things. And you've also got a mastermind group, which is the Master Level Marketing. But go back a little bit. What were you doing before you got into the internet space? Did you have a job? Were you running another business? How did you move into this space?
Okay, so before my previous career, when I first got out of university, I went into corporate sales and I had a lot of success in sales. But I didn't like the fact that in corporate sales, I was really, most corporations limit you and how much income you can make. I was one of the top sales guys in my company, and they basically capped my income. Right? They didn't say, "Oh, we can't pay you that much," because even though I'm bringing results. So that kind of upset me. So
that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I should get paid when I'm based on the results I'm getting. But literally the company I work for, they capped the commissions. They said you get this much percentage, but it's capped. So no matter how much I sold. And if I had gone in my last year in that corporate job, if I had gotten paid based on the actual percentage I should have gotten, I would have gotten double the money I actually got paid.
Yeah,
and that really upset me. And so I decided to let that job go, and I moved on to another corporate sales job, and that was a very short-lived thing. I just didn't like the industry. I didn't particularly like the company I was in. It's the only time in my entire life that I was in and out of a job in 3 months. Basically, at the end of the probation period, I told them I want to leave, and they said okay, and they let me go. And I already sort of seeing the writing on the wall that this was not where I wanted to be. So I made the arrangements so that I went into headhunting, and I was really interested in headhunting because it's a 100% commission job. I know a lot of people who have success with it. It's something that you need sales skills. You also need consulting skills. I just thought it's something I can do. And I really believed in myself and had success in that. I mean, I did that for about, around 4 years, a little over 4 years. And yeah, I was the top Asian account executive for the firm that I was in, and everything was going really, really well. And yeah, I was booming. I was making good money, and I didn't really see the problem with headhunting at the time. Then the Lehman shock came in, and the fall by the subprime, and that really, really affected the marketplace. And 2009 was just a nightmare year. I went from making high six figures income to making you won't even, if I tell you how much I made in 2009, you'd be shocked. I mean, it was pathetic. I mean, it was less than $10,000 I made total for the entire year. But in the previous year, I made over almost like $250,000. So imagine going from $250 the following year, and the year before that I made over $300,000. So imagine going from $300 down to $250 down to less than 10,000. I mean, it was
a steep fall. That's off a cliff. Pain.
Steep fall off the cliff. Yeah. So I basically lived that year off my savings because it's a 100% commission job. So, but also I started realizing some things about the headhunting world, and I started really looking and examining and saying to myself, okay, all right, the headhunting market will come back. There's no doubt it's going to come back, right? I mean, 2009 was by far, I mean, you talk to all the headhunting companies globally, it was the worst year in the history of the headhunting industry. It could not have gotten any worse. I mean, companies collapsed left and right. Companies that were, before having trouble, struggling, they collapsed. I mean, the strongest survived, and my company survived. But I realized something here that, you know what? There's really no leverage and no system in headhunting, right? I guess I had one staff helping me and working with me, but the reality was it was heavily built on my own sweat equity. I looked around at the people who were in the industry, and I knew some guys who were making $1 million a year in the industry, and they were basically pounding the phones from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. every single day, going on the weekends. There was no systemization. It was all basically about their sweat equity.
Yeah.
And I realized that, you know what? I may make good money, and I can continue to make good money. I got good connections. I'm sure I can make 6 or maybe even as of experience and time that I build the right client base, I can maybe get 7 figures. But the reality is this is going to be 100% built on my sweat, and it's going to be very little systemization involved. And the moment I stop running, the income stops running. So I decided, you know what, I need to get myself into a different type of business. And the only thing that I could think of to do that would allow me to create systems and create leverage was the internet. And also, I could see very clearly that the internet was growing. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to jump on this internet thing full. I quit my job, and I just jumped into this. And my family and friends thought I was insane.
Did they really?
Oh, man. The objections I got was unbelievable.
Yeah, I suppose if it's an unknown thing, that's quite a common reaction for a lot of people. You're sort of stepping into this world that you haven't been into. So I can realise why they may have that reaction, whether it's fear of you being really successful or maybe it's a protection thing. It goes either way, doesn't it?
I think it was more of a protection thing. They're afraid I was going to fail and struggle.
Yeah, okay. So now you're running the Netpreneur Summit. You're co-hosting that with James Brown. How did you meet James? I mean, people who know James, they know he lives in Tokyo as well. So how did you guys get together?
Well, it's really weird. I mean, it was not the last Fusion Dojo. It was the time before.
Yep.
I just heard about who James Brown is. I never even heard of the guy. And this is the ironic part, is apparently he had bought one of my training courses, 2-Step Facebook Clicks, because later on he told me he bought the course, and I went back and I looked at our customer list, and he was, sure enough, his James Brown Marketing was there. I was like, wow. I didn't know who this guy was, but he was apparently, a lot more successful. I'm going to be frank, a lot more successful online than me. And he was also living in Japan, and I never heard of this guy. And I was just like, wow, how could I not heard of this guy? So someone told me about him. So I reached out to him, and I said hello, and he was at the Fusion Dojo event, and we had a little conversation on Facebook at that time, but then nothing sort of materialized after that. A lot of time went by, and then 7 months later he reached out to me and says, I'm having a meetup, and do you want to come? And he literally, I'm not joking you, he pings me like 3 hours before the meetup. I mean, this thing's been planned for a month. Internet marketing meetup in Tokyo, do you want to come? And I'm like, dude, I got plans tonight, but I can drop by for an hour. So I dropped by that event, and we met, we had a good conversation, and from that point, we really clicked at that point. It was a personality thing. We really got along well. So from that point, we started to really talk a lot on Facebook. And then we did a couple. He actually brought me in as a co-sponsor for his meetups here in Tokyo, and I helped out with that. And then we did the last year Netpreneur Summit. So things sort of snowballed from there. But it was really weird. I mean, we had contact, and then there was 6 months of nothing.
Yeah, it's weird how that happens. I've had similar relationships like that where, that was in the case of Fusion Dojo. Leon J, I did some work with him sort of like, 9 or 10 years ago. And then he contacts me out of the blue and says, do you want to come and speak at Fusion Dojo in 2013? I haven't heard from this guy for 9 years. So it's really weird how that sort of thing happens, but that's the power of the internet. Yep. So you do quite a lot in the e-commerce space. Would you like to expand what that is and what you're involved with there?
Yes, basically I'm involved in, it all started off, well, let me just step back and explain to you a little bit what I've been involved in selling online. I'm involved in building a network marketing business online. Mm-hmm. I'm involved in affiliate marketing, selling like info products and software online and doing my own training courses. But about a year actually, yeah, I would say it's a little more than a year and a half ago. Actually, not quite a year and a half, maybe a year and 3 or 4 months ago. I discovered this T-shirt marketing thing. I mean, there was a big trend with Teespring, right?
Yes.
And I decided to give it a try. I wasn't very serious about it in the beginning. It was more, I did it sort of on a lark. I was making very good money with affiliate marketing. I was making, and also I had my own product launches going. So the idea of the e-commerce thing was just sort of, a lot of people were doing it, and I saw people making money. So I said, hell, I'll just get a couple designs, but I'll throw up some shirts. And it's sort of just snowball from there. Day by day, I got more interested in this. And it really started to consume my life. I mean, this is what I want to do, and I really let affiliate marketing go by the wayside. Even in product launches, I'm not really doing product launches anymore. I mean, there was a year stint where I had like 5 product launches in 1 year, and I'm not doing that. I do have my own product, which is Master Level Marketing. It's a mastermind group, but I'm not doing these big, massive, JV Zoo or Warrior or ClickBank launches anymore. When there was a year stint, that's all. Basically, all I was doing was those launches. And affiliate marketing, and that's a great business model. I'm not saying anything wrong with that business model. I made good money and I enjoyed that. And it's nothing like the ecstatic feeling you get when you do a week-long launch and you build up for a month or two, preparing and getting the affiliates, and then suddenly you launch this product and you're making $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a day. It happens, and it goes on for like 7 days. It's freaking exciting as hell, and everyone's making a lot of money, and everyone's excited, and people are about ooh, and that's great. And I'm not being critical at all. I did that for over a year, but that's not my thing anymore. I really just became obsessed with this e-commerce thing, and I really liked this business model. I'm not really in this product launch for the marketing space. Now I'm basically focused on 100% on e-commerce, selling physical products, T-shirts and necklaces and hats, other accessories. I've opened my own shop. I'm no longer on third-party platforms like Teespring or Represent or Amazon. I got my own Shopify store. It's all branded to me, my own store. And I'm also have a mastermind in which I teach people e-commerce. So my mastermind group is for people who are interested in doing e-commerce.
Right, and that's the masterlevelmarketing.com website, right. Correct? Okay.
That's right.
So you've got training and webinars and products you've got in there, and also people can join your. Is it a private Facebook group only for those?
Yeah,
people?
Only for members. That's right.
Okay. And what's the price of getting involved with the group?
Well, up to now, I've only done for the past year. I've only done lifetime memberships, and which was $497. But I was just made a post the other day saying, "Hey, $497. I'm still getting new kind of weekly webinars." It just occurred to me that maybe this is not the best formula. It's great for the customer, but also for me, I put a lot of effort and time into that master room. So I need to create a little more equitable situation. So I decided to change from tomorrow. You can still get it now for $497 today, but from tomorrow, the lifetime membership is going to be over. And it's going to be $97 a month. But that may sound like a lot, but it's not. If you think about it, this point of view. Every single week, you will get a workshop webinar. You will get new updated content in the members area, and you get the support of the group. So it's cheap.
Look, really, if you get one nugget out of just 1 month for $97, that makes you thousands of dollars. It pays for itself, doesn't it?
It does. It certainly does.
Yeah, $497 for lifetime membership was the steal, because many mastermind groups you're paying that on a monthly basis. So even $97 is a bit of a no-brainer. As long as what you're teaching matches what people want to learn, everyone's happy. And I know you give 140%, mate. So that's brilliant.
The feedback people like. I sometimes post on my Facebook, "Well, how are you guys liking the mastermind?" And unbelievable. I mean, they just go in there and they make tons of comments. So, yeah, people are happy.
That's great. That's the sort of feedback you want. So we've got quite a few interesting speakers who are actually coming along to Netpreneur Summit. There's this really cool guy called Ed that I know. He's turning up.
I think that would be you.
Oh, that's right. That's me. Sorry. I was thinking there was another Ed, but it's definitely me. There's quite a few Aussies turning up. Kim Barrett, my mate here in Perth, who does Facebook advertising, he's speaking as well. Stuart Sterling, he's Australian. Who else we got? Well, of course, Mr. Brown, an Australian expat living in Tokyo, and a few other guys, a few UK people. So it looks like quite a nice mix of people talking at the event. So I'm assuming you're pumped and excited about it.
I'm excited. I mean, this is going to be a great event. I think it's going to change people's lives. I think people should come out. And the thing is, there's a couple of things that's really cool about this. Number one is it's a non-pitch event, so we're not going to be sit there pitching you, which is the number one problem with most events, right?
Yes, correct.
The other thing is it's a small event. I mean, we're not going to have a huge number of people. I would say we're going to have anywhere between 40 to 100, depending on how many tickets we sell and et cetera. But it's going to be a chance to interact with the speakers, and that's huge, guys. To be able to actually, in most events I go to, a speaker will come in, he speaks, and then he's gone. And you don't get a chance to really interact with them and ask the follow-up questions, which can sometimes be the key. You may have gotten the gist of what the person was talking about on stage, but you're missing a little bit of key elements, and you got some questions. And to be able to connect with them is enormous. And that's going to be possible at this event because this is going to be a smaller event. I mean, the reality is Tokyo is kind of an out-of-the-way destination, so it doesn't have the same appeal as holding an event in Vegas. But we're doing that on purpose. We want to be something different. We want to be something unique. We want to promote Japan. So this is going to be an opportunity for those who make the trip to connect with some people that you would not normally have a chance to. I mean, how often can you rub shoulders with people who are making 6 or 7 figures online and sit there and have a drink with them and talk to them for 20 or 30 minutes? It's a rarity. So I think this trip is going to change lives. It did last year. I mean, one thing I can say is really amazing is we only had about 30 people last year. It was our first attempt, and also the timing was bad. It was December before Christmas, so a big mistake, right? But almost, I think 20 of them have bought tickets again for this year. What does that tell you?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's how pleased they were. I mean, literally 60% plus of the people are buying and want to make the trip out again.
Yeah, and as you say, it is not the most convenient of places, but I mean, for someone like me coming from Perth, nowhere is convenient unless it's in Perth. so I mean, no matter where I go, I've got to fly for, usually minimum 5 hours, where in this case it'll be 13, but well worth it because I've hung out with you guys before and I know how switched on you are and how much fun you are, which is important. You've got to have fun doing this stuff, don't you? I mean, if it's all too serious, which it does need to be when it needs to be, but there's also times when you need just to be able to shoot the breeze. And that's, I find, when you pick up the gems in the conversations at the bar. You're chatting
definitely
with the speakers and all of a sudden they drop an absolute bomb on you. You go, oh, that is super cool. And, if that was the one thing you take away from the whole seminar, then fantastic. I mean, all the content you're getting is going to be absolutely brilliant. And, but, it's that catching up with the speakers, as you said, and having time to talk with them that is gold. So
I think it's totally golden. Yep.
So I know you've got an absolute ton of stuff on your plate at the moment, and you had to squeeze this 20 minutes in with us to get this done. So I appreciate it, Chris. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate that.
No, that's my pleasure, mate. And we'll see you in a month from now in Tokyo, in Shinjuku.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to having a beer with you as well.
We will do so, mate.
Okay.
Have a good one. Thanks, Chris. We'll see you soon. Bye. You've been listening to the Business Marketing Show. You can find us at businessmarketingshow.com on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher.